I don't think progressives, Democrats, all of us have really made the appropriate case to show exactly how evil 725 is in 2021. We've had 725 for 11 years or more. And we have to also remember, however, that if we had indexed the minimum wage for inflation, it would be north of $20 an hour. Okay? Now, there are a lot of people who say, oh, this is just entry-level work. So therefore, since the people who are doing this work, it's entry level, by somehow raising this minimum wage, you're going to create a problem with that employer because now he's going to lay people off because it cost him more. Wealth transfer, income transfer, and wage theft is a very insidious thing. There are a lot of different ways of doing it, right? You can actually have wage theft by simply not paying the wage that somebody made. You can do that, right? In other words, if you're making $100 a week, your boss can simply say, I'm going to hold back $10 and not tell you you're just not getting it. That's wage theft. But there are other ways we can allow our system itself to effect wage theft. Here's how systemic wage theft works. Let's say we have an average inflation rate of 3%. And let's say the minimum wage were $10. I'm just doing it because it's easy to calculate. The next year, that minimum wage is supposed to be, if it's 3%, right? That would be $10.30. Let's say it's 3% the next year. The next year it would be, your minimum wage would be $10.67 or 68 cents. The next year would be $11, etc. And people would say, but wait a minute, what is that doing to the employer? Well, if you take a look at what the employer is doing, right? The employer is buying more product at the inflation rate cost, and he doesn't go ahead and say, I don't want to pay the 3% inflation cost on the products that I am buying. He just buys it because that's what it costs. Likewise, when his profit increases, because if he sells a piece of bread for $1 and inflation goes up and he now starts selling it for $1.10, he continuously makes more money based on inflation. But he does not want to give his minimum wage worker that profit as well. So in effect, he is creating income inequality because he's freezing this guy's income while he continues to pay more to the people who sell him the flour, to the people who sell him the fat, to the people who sell him all these different things. He doesn't have a problem paying them more, whatever the market will bear. He doesn't mind paying them the inflation rate that's going. He doesn't mind because his prices of his products has increased because of what he has to pay. He doesn't mind making more money so that his salary is indexed to inflation as well, meaning he makes more profit. The only person who suffers in this capitalist system is the worker, the person who they try to remove all power from. You get a union, they try to remove the union. They want to take away your union. They want to take away your ability to bargain, to say, hey, you got to pay me too. It is an orchestrated wage theft. Inflation or minimum wage not indexed to inflation is wage theft. Let's go a little further. McDonald's used to pay, let's say $3, let's say the $7.25 an hour minimum wage. Their prices of burgers and everything went up. They still bring in those workers at $7.25, entry level. The worker who worked in 2010 for $7.25 is making more than the worker who comes in 2020 working at $7.25. And guess what? That means that new entry level worker can only buy less than his earlier entry level worker. It is wage theft by design. It is income transfer by design. It is wealth transfer by the design of the system. In other words, your employer, by having a minimum wage that does not index to inflation and having a low minimum wage, what they're doing is they're sanctioning wage theft. And one of the things we don't do when we express these things is we don't express it in the language that's true. Oh, we make it seem as if we are doing the low wage worker a favor by increasing the minimum wage, making things a little better for them. So thank you so very much. Thank you for doing that for us. When in reality, all we are doing is stopping wage theft. Think about that. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.